Speaker, I want to refer to a press release that was released by the Electoral Commission on the 30th of July 2024, outlining a number of activities to be undertaken ahead of the 2026 elections. Right Honorable Speaker, at number 1, the Electoral Commission set out dates 6 to 16th of August 2024 for field demarcation of constituencies and electoral areas and reorganization of polling stations. Right Honorable Speaker, what is happening on the ground is that the Electoral Commission constituted a team that comprises of town clerks, chief administrative officers, district planners, sub-county administrative secretaries, and themselves as the team to do this work. What they are doing, Right Honorable Speaker, is that they are splitting constituencies, electoral areas. They started with local governments, splitting electoral areas, merging some, and doing away with others. Right Honorable Speaker, in all this exercise, they have not involved the political parties who are major stakeholders in this business. Right Honorable Speaker, I got to know about this from my councillors when they came to me when most of them were losing their constituencies. In accordance to the Local Government Amended Act of 2020, this House passed, and this is what is being implemented, that a sub-county, to have for sub-county councillor, somebody must have 30,000 voters. In KCCA, 100,000 voters. In other cities, 100,000 voters. Municipal wards, 15,000 voters. City division wards, 15,000 voters. Sub-county, 12,000 voters. Towns, wards, 12,000 voters. And then municipal wards, 7,000 voters. Right Honorable Speaker, as much as it is saying that they are implementing a law that was passed by this House, they are using the census of 2014 to determine the population, not the current census. Mr. Speaker, sir, after 10 years, the population has changed and a lot has changed. So if you go out to create electoral areas, depending on the 2014 population census, you are, in essence, already rigging elections because the number of residents has drastically changed, especially for us who are in towns. Right Honorable Speaker.
Prayers, Honorable.
There is also another issue, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to raise. As they are decreasing when they follow up with this, they have decreased the number of councillors. I've been looking at some of my councils. Some of them now have 9 councillors. So if you have a council with 9 councillors, and 4 of them are on the executive, and 3 of them are chairpersons of committees, that means that committees now in the councils will have no members. You will find one councillor sitting alone on a committee to supervise a department of the district, of the sub-county, or of a municipal council. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, using the failure to involve stakeholders, when we all agreed, Mr. Speaker, that we are operating in a multi-party system of governance, and that political parties are major stakeholders, especially when it comes to elections. So this exercise, the way it has been conducted, Mr. Speaker, leaves out the major stakeholders and therefore leaves a lot to desire. So my prayers are, Right Honorable Speaker, that the Electoral Commission, through the Minister for Justice, be ordered, one, to involve all stakeholders instead of using technical people in creating constituencies. Two, that after 10 years, it is erroneous, Right Honorable Speaker, to refer to population census of 2014, but have told me that they are doing this because the results of the recently concluded population census have not been gazetted. But, Mr. Speaker, what does it take to gazette the results of a population census that has been concluded, so that in 2026 we create constituencies basing it truly on the population quotas, as the intention of the framers of our constitution was. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, that we make laws, but laws are not supposed to cause absurdities. Where you see that a council has been decreased to the number of councillors who cannot constitute a council with its organs, then the best thing, Right Honorable Speaker, would have been for the Electoral Commission to refer this matter back to Parliament, so that we reconsider the amendment we made. We made it in good spirit. We wanted to decrease the number of leaders. But our intention was not to create an absurdity like the case is turning out to be. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nambooze. Honorable Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, sir, this country is known as the Republic of Uganda. A republic means we are a representative government, and the representatives are a result of elections. Therefore, electoral activities are paramount in these arrangements that are in our Constitution. Now that this matter has been brought to the attention of government by the Honorable Member of Parliament representing Mukono Municipality, I want to state as follows. Number one, in decision making, you must seek the input of those who will be affected by the decisions. The cows, town clerks, the electoral commissioners are not candidates for elections. They are not players. Even if you are making rules for football, you consult the football clubs. Even if you are choosing referees. So this matter is critical. As I understand it, the Honorable Member is stating that the Electoral Commission is perhaps misreading what the meaning of independence is. The Electoral Commission is independent, but it doesn't mean that they act alone and they don't act for themselves. For the record, let me state that this is not the first time the Electoral Commission has done things that have caused embarrassment. Yours truly was once removed from the voters' register by an Electoral Commission which claimed that they had retired the register. I had to go to court to prove that you cannot retire a register. You can compile and keep updating. So, let me take this as homework, but I will do the following two things. Number one, I'll meet them and hear their side. Number two, I will direct whoever is concerned to convene an extraordinary meeting of the National Consultative Forum of Political Parties. This is a constitutional body chaired by the ruling party, but the deputy chair is from the leading opposition party in Parliament. I believe that will be a forum for us to do the right thing for those who will seek elections. Not everybody will be a candidate, but the parties are the best groups to make the input impactful. I promise that by as early as possible next week, you will have your actions. But you'll also hear in the media the things we are trying to do. We want to avoid gerrymandering. We do not want an accusation by those who will lose elections to claim that they lost because of the actions of the Electoral Commission. But they say a stitch in time saves 9. I thought I was being extremely clear. Okay.
Subsection 1 talks about 100,000 in the case of cities. Section C, 15,000 in the case of municipalities or city divisions. Isn't this a contradiction? Would you clarify? Because this is for the representation for direct elected in the city council. One is talking about one councillor representing 100,000 people.
So, Honorable, you want the minister to clarify on the law? Because this is the law.
He's the right person. I thought he is the right person to clarify on the law.
He is obliged to comply. They are non-negotiable. So there is even no way the Electoral Commission will say they are doing the right thing if it is outside the law. It is as simple as that. So my job is simply to communicate clearly to them, one, that they need to act in a consultative manner, and two, they must be objective. And objectivity means that they must deal with current data. If you are using outdated data of 2014, if that is indeed the case, and their excuse is that it has not been gazetted, then that is, I agree, an absurdity. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me take this as homework.
Thank you. And I'm glad that there is still some between the two former DP friends. I'm happy OD and OG. A very critical issue. I think after all this, you need to update this house so that we are all informed. I have received calls, some people asking, so coming 2026, each sub-county will have a female councillor. You know, that's now what, yeah, okay, it's in the law, but now people are still debating it. So you need to come out and maybe you give us an information statement out of that roadmap so that we can go and be able to update us.